Alright, I ended up fixing the lo-fi because I totally realized that it did not work. Last video I was not sharing my sound, so it's working now. We're good. We got the lo-fi in the background for the vibes. So yeah, Exeggutor line, guys. There. Also, if I'm a little bit like tired or less energetic than usual, just because I'm kind of tired. So I just wanted to get this one out of the way because I finished them up and I figured I may as well just talk about them all. It's stuff fresh on my mind, you know. So yeah, they're super great, man. As always. I'm not exactly sure where to start because nothing here seems overly controversial, to be honest. I'd say the most controversial thing, sorry, I should lower this a little bit. Sometimes it's hard for me to focus with background music because, or background noise sometimes because, especially when I'm talking. Like when I'm talking, it's difficult for me, but I think it's good for the vibes. That's a good bit of volume for me. So yeah, 575 base stat total. That might be kind of controversial with some guys. If you're familiar with the work and familiar with the hack so far, you'll know that they are far from the first and far from the last that will be having a 575. And essentially what that is, and what I call it, is a semi-pseudo. When it's a 3-stage, when it's a 2-stage, I guess they're technically not semi-pseudos, but stat-wise they basically are. And I basically just do that, especially for mixed attackers, because they need the stat points, because they don't have as many stat points to pull from to be strong mixed attackers, and so therefore the base stat total needs to be higher. So while people kind of look at base stat total and they're like, oh, wow, it's a high base stat total, therefore it's good. No, I could make some of these Pokemon have like 500 or 480 and be better than a Pokemon with 575, theoretically. Here, yeah, I was finding another example. Arcanine is one example. There's going to be a lot more later. I already know for a fact there's going to be a lot more of these examples later. Just a little bit bigger. Trust me, there'll be more 575 base stat total 2-stage mons. It looks weird, but get used to it because it's going to be more of them. So I think that's about all I need to address with that stats, because they need the base stat total because of their mixed attacking nature. They need it. They need to be mixed attackers. Sorry, they need to be high base stat total. Also, I think it fits Alolan pretty well. It's just kind of weird for Kanto Exeggutor, but the beautiful thing is, I say that a lot. The nice thing about it is, actually Exeggutor stats make a lot of sense as well, compared to Alolan. So I'll get into differences and usage for them in a second, but first I guess I'll start off with Execute. So at also level 33, you use the gems. I know they're kind of annoying, but that's the best way I can do evolution choices for branch depots or optional evolutions with the other Pokemon. It's the best I could do. Because I'm not doing stones or any of that crap, because it's just too many variables. Like, oh, where is this stone? I can't change the for those of you who don't know, I cannot change the overworld locations of items. I can only change hell items and shops. So it's too much effort to like figure out, oh, when does this item available and when would that balancing work and how many of those can you get, and I need to now add more to the shops, etc. Meanwhile, gems are both useful items and evolution items, so 2 birds with 1 stone, saves a lot of shop space. Yeah, put that out of the way. The gem evolutions. Level 33, Exeggutor has good stats, man. Very good stats. Up to level 33, we're totally fine using it. It's got Harvest, like the whole line has Harvest. Harvest is great. Harvest has a lot of options, honestly. You can just use boring, like, oh, 50%, you know, Harvest plus Protect, plus Leech Seed, plus Citrus Berry, and just heal a bunch. But there's a lot of cool shit you can do with Harvest. You can actually harvest Bataya Berries. You can harvest Salac Berries. You can harvest defense boosting berries, attack boosting berries, etc. You know, it's really cool stuff. You get a lot of cool options to harvest. And of course, yes, you could use it with the healing. Good ability. And obviously in the sun, it's 100% guaranteed to harvest your item. And Sunny Day TM is available at the beginning, so you will have harvest with the sun, or Grassy Guard, which is a new ability that I'll get into in a second, with the Grassy Terrain TM. I actually considered, come on, can that load please? There we go. Thing almost died. I ended up choosing just Grassy Guard for Execute. I wanted to give all of them Grassy Guard, but there isn't enough. Like, I feel like Harvest and Solar Rush, which is Chlorophyll, just fits too damn well to like remove them. I can't. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I just don't think it fits as well. But it would have been cool. Like, it would have made them a lot bulkier and good under grassy terrain. But it's fine. Grassy Guard Execute's great early game. You got the grassy terrain DM. So basically, you'll get a little bit of residual healing. You'll get a 50% boost, a huge boost to all of your grass stab. So it's 2.25x, not just 2 times. It's 2.25 because it stacks. And you get 1.5x boosted defense. So if I do the math really quickly, 80 Jolly +1. Yeah, you hit 426 defense at max with Execute under Grassy Guard, under Grassy Terrain with Grassy Guard. And of course, the beautiful thing about the abilities is you can just swap them on and off. So as I'll get into it later, guys, Harvest is your non-sun ability that also works in sun. Meanwhile, Solar Rush only works in the sun. So, and obviously, even if your ability is not triggering every battle, they have good enough stats and move pools that their abilities are not overly important. But regardless, that's why Execute is much stronger, because it has to be, because in order for it to evolve, in order for it to be viable up until it evolves and to still evolve at a reasonable level, it has to be strong. And also, I mean, he's a bunch of fucking psychic eggs. I don't see why they can't be strong, and then have good special defense at the top of their defense. It fits pretty well, actually. A little bit less HP is the only, I guess you could call it quote unquote nerf, but it's not a nerf, man. Also, it's just kind of weird that they had 60 HP because, like I said, I'm trying to make HP more consistent, not completely consistent, but stuttered a little bit. Not completely consistent, but more consistent. Also, the music's a little quiet. Actually, I can turn it up a tiny bit. That's a little better. So yeah, guys, that's a really cool Execute usage. Super bulky. Again, 426 defense. I believe that's about. Shot in the dark. I'm kind of tired right now, so I'm not as on point as I usually am. I'd say 140 something. Oh wow, that's close. 426, right? Yeah, about 144, 145. So, super fucking bulky, man. You can run max special defense, 0 defense investment. Obviously, you won't be hitting base 144 without investment, but you'll still be really, really bulky. Good options, and you can always just ability capsule plus EV training items. You can tailor your sets for every single battle instantly, effortlessly, for free. You should be doing that. So that's Execute. Gets great moves. Leech Seed, disable, poison powder, harden, synthesis as healing later. Stun Spore, Psychic Terrain, coverage with injured power, Signal Beam. Later on, you'll get like cool shit like Shadow Ball, Psychic Aura Sphere, but that's mostly for Exeggutor because at that point, I'd say around where I'm circling is where you would be evolving. Around this range is where you'd be evolving once you start learning like Shadow Ball, or once you start getting access to the Shadow Ball TMs and whatnot. So yeah, super good coverage. I'll get into the Exeggutors now. So Exeggutor with Solar Rush on both forms. They have the same abilities, which is like, oh, that's kind of boring. They're not that different. I differentiated their stats a bunch, and obviously the typing is enough differentiation. And Lone Exeggutor also gets exclusive TMs, and then as a whole, their moves are different. Both of them get exclusive moves on each side of the spectrum. So I would not say one is better than the other. I think it truly just depends on what you need and what your preference is. I think you could argue Cantonian is quote-unquote better only because of the special defense, but again, Exeggutor alone is the typing plus the giant HP set. So yeah, that's one of the major differences is Alolan has giant HP because he is 36 feet tall and 1,000 pounds. However, Cantonian Exeggutor keeps his 95 HP because that's actually a reasonable good HP because he's a fucking 7-foot tall tree. 7-foot tall, 250 pound tree monster. Also, why am I rounding up 6'7"? That's totally 6.5 feet tall. But anyways, we'll disregard that I did that. He's 2 meters tall, man. He's fucking big ass tree. All right, tree monster, 95 HP is totally reasonable. He's fat too. He's pretty chunky. So, plus 5 attack, you know, hits a little bit harder. Makes sense. Power creep and whatnot in the hack. Big tree, he can slam shit. I think 100 attack fits fine. Both of them have 85 defense, so that's one of their shared stats. Cantonian is 5 points faster, which actually is a big difference when it comes to Solar Rush. That becomes an almost, I believe, 11 or 12 base stat difference if you wanted to convert it. So Cantonian Exeggutor is significantly faster under the sun, and both hit really good speed tiers. I will show you right now. Crap, +2. So this is maxes out at 458 or 418, depending on your nature. Meanwhile, Alolan minima is 398 to 436, depending on your nature. So there's a big range there. It's a big important. I believe I did the math earlier, and I believe at max, Cantonian Exeggutor is 149 base speed, at absolute max, and then at minimum meaning without the nature, but maximum EVs and IVs. It's ranges from the top of my head. I believe it might just be 138 or 139 or 131. Okay, now I gotta check. Hold on, guys. I have it in my notes. I gotta find it. Ugh, it's all the way up here, isn't it? Sorry, guys. I know I wish I could talk while I find the information, but I'm not good at multitasking. Come on, dude. Ugh, it's not that important. Yeah, I found it. Okay, great. So, oh crap! Actually, 50 base speed hits 149 at max. 55 base speed is whatever that is. The actual base stat equivalents don't matter, but as you can see, these are the tiers they hit. They're fast, man. They're fucking fast. Both of them will be outspeeding base 120s for sure, unless you have like a minus speed nature or shitty IVs. But if you have like max IVs, you'll be outspeeding base 120s under sun at minimum, and that's worst case. Best case, you're up to like 150s. So that's how fast they are under the sun. Super quick, super strong. And they can also technically abuse speed boosting stuff outside of sun. Like they can use agility. They can use Z moves that boost speed. And they can use, there's one more I'm thinking of, Dragon Dance for Alolan. A little bit niche. You could also use those under suns, for example. You could use Dragon Dance with the sun up, which is pretty cool. Or you could use like Dragon Dance Harvest type deal. Harvest some speed berries or some shit. I don't know. You also have Swords Dance for attack. Calm Mind is a great new addition I gave them, which is great with reliable recovery and stuff. And again, I have nerf setup, so it's not instantly winning the game anymore. You have limited PP, 1 to 2, maybe 3 PP max on most setup moves. So that's that. Sorry, the music changed to me off also, I heard. I think people are talking outside, but yeah. Like I said, another big difference outside of the HP, like I said earlier, is their attacking stats. So Exeggutor, Kanto version, is specially biased, so it has 100 physical attack, which is very good and respectable, and 125 special attack, which is huge, super strong. Meanwhile, Alolan is flipped, but not exactly, because I think 110 special attack fits Alolan pretty well. And also, I want both of them to be viable as mixed, but I think Alolan is even more viable as mixed because of their move pool and whatnot. Not to say that Cantonian is not viable as mixed, it totally is, especially either mixed, meaning, also I want to clarify, when I say mixed, there's two ways you can view that. You can view mixed attacking on the same set, meaning like, oh, I'm running a physical and special moves on the same set to like bypass certain Pokemon, for example. Oh, and the competitive is a better example. It's not as much of an issue in game because you can just tailor, you can counter team your EVs and IVs and sets for whatever you're fighting. So that's the beauty. That's the in-game definition of mixed. But competitive would be like, oh, and you can still do this. It's still viable, just not as important as it is in competitive. You could use like Growth plus Frenzy Plant, which is -2 attack. Okay, actually Superpower is a better example because yeah, you can use, which is like -2 attack, 150 base power now. So you could use that on a mixed set to like take down a Blissey, for example, or whatever, and Growth, Solar Beam, freaking Psy Strike, and then Superpower to kill Blissey in one hit or something stupid like that. That would be a better example of a competitive mixed set that's viable. But the beauty is you can counter team. So what I mean by mix is you can just pick between your two sets. For example, if you have a plus attack nature, Kanto Exeggutor, your attack will be, depending on your special attack IVs and EVs and whatever, your attack will most likely be much higher. Again, depending on your nature and IVs. I didn't mean to say EVs. EVs obviously is customizable, but IVs are not customizable until the end of the game, or unless you're breeding or not doing a Nuzlocke, in which case, you should be just breeding for max IVs, I guess, which is easy now because there's a Destiny now and all that other shit. But that's beside the point. My point is, guys, is that it's more special, and 95, 85, 115 bulk is fucking great, man. You can run Assault Vest if you wanted to. You have all this great setup. You got bulk up as well. I forgot to mention bulk up. So that's great as well. And then you have shit like Alolan, who is 120 HP, which is absolutely huge. One of the higher HP pets in the game because I very rarely go over 120 HP now. Only like big fucking boys have like 120 plus for the most part. With some exceptions, of course. So he's in the top 10%, 5% of HP stats. So super bulky. HP is a big deal. I'm not a fan. Well, actually, nobody's a fan of because statistically, it's just shit. When Game Freak chooses to give Pokemon stupid fucking stats, they'll give like Lantern. I call it like this is what I call it, Lantern syndrome. Like a joke I have just because of like what the fuck were they thinking? Special defense is forgivable because 125 HP and 76 offense is actually pretty good if you invest max BDF, but like 125 HP, 58 defense, it's shit, man. It's not taking hits. It's all fluff. Typically having higher defenses and lower HP is better, but there's a balance because if you have like Shuckle, for example, Shuckle has like ridiculous, absurd 230 defenses, but shit HP. So there's a balance you gotta strike. I think most people know that, but just in case you didn't, that's there's a very good balance here is my point, because 120, 85, 85, especially with Assault Vest, oh man, you're swallowing hits. You're taking hits for days. So physically, Alolan is much bulkier because of the gained HP, but it is not especially bulky. It's equal in both defenses, which makes sense. Also, I wanted to clarify, yeah, he has more special attack and special defense because it's Psychic. Alolan Exeggutor can still use Psychic moves, like Psychic by TM and the pre-evolution moves and Psychic Fangs and Heaven and all that shit, but overall, you only have like lingering Psychic powers, like it has the stupid little telekinesis on its tail or some bullshit. Also, totally unrelated side note, I don't like Alolan Exeggutor as my hot take. I think it's stupid. I think it's a joke mon. And I don't hate it, but it really bothers me how Game Freak themselves are like, almost, I wouldn't say retconning, but they're like kind of shitting on Exeggutor Kanto version. They're like, oh yeah, it's people say this is what Exeggutor should truly look like, and like if you look up Exeggutor on Google, like you find all Alolan Exeggutor, and it's like, damn man, like put some respect on my boy regular Exeggutor, bro. He's fucking cool. Like I think Kanto Exeggutor is already a good amount of goofy, you know, because he has the stupid fucking faces and he's derpy, but he's also cool. Like he has this cool little monster feet. This is so on topic, but I just want to give my opinion. He's cool little monster feet and shit. It's cool, man. But then you got fucking Alolan, and he's just yeah, haha, palm tree, haha, they reach the sun. But it's just too much for me. It's too stupid. I don't like the design. I don't hate it either. I like the tail, not the face, but I like just the addition of the tail. It looks cool. Makes him look more like a monster. I think they could have made this work better, but I don't know. It's a joke. It's literally a fucking meme. You can't even see his head in the game. It's obviously a joke. So that's why I don't like it that much, and I prefer Kanto for sure. But obviously, like I said earlier, I don't let my bias, for the most part. Okay, maybe I'll give a little bit of favoritism to like my favorites. Like I'll make them a little stronger, but overall, like for Pokemon I dislike, I don't give them any less of a good treatment because I don't really dislike any Pokemon, first off. And second off, even if I did, it's not fair of me to like fucking play God and be like, oh, this one sucks now. It's worse than all the others who are all great because I think its design is dumb. Like, no, that's not fair to the Pokemon. So overall, I try to show as little favoritism as possible. Those side tangents aside, yeah, Solar Burst is great. You've got Growth. Another great option you have is oh yeah, and obviously, sorry, more physical attack on Alolan because he's fucking huge. You can slam his head and shit way harder than Kanto could. But in return, it lost its psychic powers as much, so it's not as strong, but it's still strong. Like 125, 110 has very good offenses. So you could argue that Cantonian has better stat distribution, but Alolan has the better typing. Although both of these typings are kind of equally good and bad, I would say. So, in my opinion, great moves, like I said. Some other weird stuff that probably jumping at people. Why do they get fire moves? Well, something I do sometimes is I take something that they already got and I stretch the logic of it to a reasonable extent. So like for example, Reptilemon's got Dragon Dance, now I give it to more reptiles. That kind of deal. So in this case, they got Flamethrower. And so I'm like, all right, fuck it. They can get Heat Wave by that same logic. There's Heat Waves in tropical areas. They got Flamethrower. They can breathe fire out of their goddamn mouths because they're dragons. I don't see why they can't summon a wave of heat. Also, Heat Wave is a guaranteed crit move now, so it's stronger than Flamethrower overall. And it can work great with, like, for example, you can use Leaf Storm. Get a -2 special attack. You can use Draconic Beam, which is a fucking nuke. Or Draco Meteor, which is the quote-unquote weaker version, which is not weak, but yeah. Here, I'll actually just cover all of their special. I'll cover all the dragon moves here. So you got False Strike, which gives you attack and accuracy, but it doesn't kill them. So it's a nice utility boosting move. Draco Jet for priority on. You have dual step priority. For all of the Exeggutor forms, besides you have dual step priority for both Exeggutor forms on both ends of the spectrum, physical and special. Besides the physical psychic, they don't get Think Fast because they can't punch shit. But otherwise, they have Leaf Flurry, Seed Shot, Twister, Leaf Flurry, Seed Shot, Twister, Influx, and Draco Jet. Sorry. So super great there, considering their low speed. They can use those very well with like Calm Mind or Growth or whatever else they want to fucking do. They have good utility as well. Like I said, tons of utility, man. Sleep Powder, setup moves. You got Branch Leech, which is like a super strong exclusive move. Oh, I have to add their little icons there, so I'll do that as I talk about it. But they don't technically have branches, I know. Like, they don't have visible branches, but I wanted to stretch the logic a bit because the animation just kind of shows like these antler-looking wooden appendages like ramming into them. So I figure, you know, Abominable Snow, Abominable Snow, Exeggutor type mons can get it, and I buff the power, so it's that's gonna be a pain in the ass to fit. Hold on, I have to enlarge this. Oh god, it's fucking up all the stuff below. Oh god, oh fuck, god. I'll just talk while I do it. Yeah, as I was saying, it's just really useful. Sorry, I'm really bad at multitasking if you cannot tell. Oh, it only fucked up some of them for some reason. Weird. So, yeah, Branch Leech is great. Much stronger than Giga Drain. Physical side, so for Alolan, it's fucking great. For Kanto, it's also great. And it actually encourages the use of your lower physical attack. For Alolan, it's just a great option. They have lots of coverage. Like I said, I'm not even gonna waste time covering it all because one, you guys have eyes, and two, you guys can always look up what each of these moves do because I promise you, all of them are pretty significantly different from what you think of them as. But I'm only covering like the really key points because otherwise these would be even longer than they already are, and I don't think anybody wants that. So, yeah, they've got other setup like Ingrain, which is like it's like Calm Mind, but it lowers your speed by 5 because you're digging your roots in the ground, and you get the Ingrain healing effect as a benefit. So it's kind of like Curse plus Calm Mind plus Ingrain in one move, sort of. It's like you're moving super slow, but in exchange you are, you know, stronger. And you can also use it multiple times, I believe. I actually forget. I might have. Let's see. Yeah, you can use it 3 times. I believe I made Calm Mind and bulked up only. Oh, that's 3 times. I was more generous then. I always for some reason thought it was 2, but not 3. It's 3 is fair. 3 uses because it's a less boost on 1 turn. Regardless, I'm getting very off topic, but they have really strong stab moves on both ends. Like I said, Draconic Beam's a fucking nuke. Dragon Fairy is good with like Zoom Lens, if you wanted to go that route. What that is 130 base power, 70% accurate dragon type move that always burns. It's a clone or variant of Inferno and Plasma Shot and all the other moves I created. With Zoom Lens, that becomes like, what, 91%? Yes, 91. So, good option there. And you can also use Zoom Lens plus like Dragon Fury plus fucking Seed Flare plus Hurricane plus Fire Blast. You know, Zoom Lens is a very viable option on Alolan Exeggutor all around. It's a viable on both, but especially on Alolan for Dragon Fury. But it's viable on, you know, you can always just slap it on a slow Pokemon and completely ignore the... I forget if Zoom Lens requires you to be attacked first. Related tangent. I forget it. I feel like I remember it requires... No. They just have to do their attack. Okay, so I guess it wouldn't work. I wonder if that counts for sleep. Good question. Somebody knows that in the question? I guess if it's in the comments, tell me. I wonder if, like, when it says, oh, they're fast asleep, if that counts as their move for the turn. It even says they need... Oh, that's Instructing Dancer, though. Regardless, I wonder how it interacts with sleep. Obviously, I wonder if it also interacts with, like, full paralysis, like if you're fully paralyzed or immobilized, if that still counts as, like, your movement for that turn. Side tangent aside. Yeah, man, super great coverage, super great stab on all ends. You got Drop Kick and Breaking Swipe dual stab for like attack drop utility and also just reliable good damage. Magical Leaf boosts your special defense. That's a good utility type offensive move. A cool little gimmick you can try is like Power Trick, Alolan Exeggutor. Swap your 125 base attack with your 85 defense, so you can run like a special set with Power Trick. It's a meme. It's kind of a meme, but it's a genuinely viable option. You can also do the same thing to a lesser extent on Cantonian Exeggutor, giving yourself 95, 100, 115 bulk and 120, 125, 85 bulk, which is more impressive. With like you can't use that with Assault Vest, but point being, it's a cool little gimmick they get early on. Otherwise, they just get really good stab. Good setup, I already covered that. Harvest is usable, like I said. Harvest is a good ability. It's just consistent. Sorry, it's not consistent unless it's in the sun. But you can fish for the boost with Harvest, which is the good thing about it. It's not. I don't like inconsistent abilities like Flame Body and Static because those are like debilitating, and they're also not rewarding to the user. They're rewarding to people who like. How do I explain it? They're inconsistent, which is one thing, and they're inconsistent, but they're inconsistent and they're not that good for the player to use. Like, I would never really want to have Static. In competitive, a different story. On a bulky fucking, Zapdos Static, good fucking ability. Because you switch it and you fish for over the course of a game because you're swapping around. It's 6v6 singles and you're swapping. AI doesn't fucking swap, so it's just kind of frustrating and a boring ability. No need for them to exist. But Harvest, not only is it a higher chance, but you can again fish for it. It's a passive thing. It's not an active like, oh, I get hit and I get status, and you're fishing for that status. It's more just, oh, my berry regenerates half the time, or guaranteed in the sun, which is one of the better things. Also, Kanto Exeggutor has Weather Ball, while Alolan has regular fire moves. Like I said, Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Blaze Kick, because they get kick moves already. They already got low kick and shit, so I'm just stretching that logic to the reasonable conclusion for a ROM hack at least. Aqua Tail, because they live near the tropical islands. I think it works fine. Lots of random stupid shit gets Aqua Tail just because they have a tail anyways, like fucking 4 times a week. Rhyperior, I believe, gets Aqua Tail, so a fucking tropical palm tree dragon can totally use it. Hurricane, I picture him whipping his head around. Also, Tropical Storms, I think it fits pretty well. Pretty cool. Kind of a joke, but actually a viable, really good coverage option. Also, I really want to incentivize the 110 special attack despite the attack being higher, so because you have Branch Leech and shit too, which just makes physical so strong. So I wanted to really hit home that special sets are equally viable and equally good, especially depending on your specific Exeggutor. Power Up, Grid Stab, that's exclusive. This actually was a funny little side thing I went into with people on the server about Power Whip and the glitch. It's kind of weird. Exeggutor doesn't get it in Sword and Shield, but Alolan does by TM because it's a TR in a Sword and Shield. Kanto doesn't get it, Alolan does. But in Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, both of them get it. So it's a weird little inconsistency there. I'm pretty sure my take is that it's just they fucked it up. They accidentally gave it to Kanto as well, and then they fixed it in Sword and Shield, which came after Let's Go. Because how the fuck is he whipping? I mean, I had friends who were saying, oh, he can use his fucking leaves. Sure, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I give whip to like power up to like long tail guys, strong tail guys, vine dudes with tongues, only because Sazatoad and shit got it with their tongues. So yeah. Side tangents aside, other weird options they have that might strike people as odd. Not too much else, honestly. Fangs, I guess, might be odd. I mean, they have fangs, man. They got little teeth, sharp teeth. And I think they just kind of made the reliable psychic physical move for Exeggutor. Otherwise, its best move would be Zen Headbutt, which is good. It's 100 base power, 95 accurate, but you might want the 100% accurate psychic fangs, so thought that'd be cool. I believe that's about it. Other cool stuff, I guess, is like speed swap on Kanto with its shitty speed. It can speed swap something fast, and use that. Cool option. Otherwise, not too much else. I think I covered about everything. Yeah. Hopefully there's nothing else I'm missing that's like glaringly weird or obvious. I think that's about all for the usage. Again, both of them are really good. Which one you choose to use is totally up to you and your personal team and situation, and when you're using them and where you're using them, and your specific IVs and EVs, if you're doing an Nuzlocke or not, etc., etc. So, super cool. Really fun mons. Really like the way both of them turned out, to be honest. I really am happy that they have so much cool shit, but none of them is really better than the other one. Took a little while to iron out the stats, and yeah, sorry if the 575 stat total weirds you out, but it's the best I can do, man. It was a necessary. It was genuinely necessary. Either that or Kanto Exeggutor is no longer mixed, which is kind of lame to me because he's a big fucking tree. I want him to be able to use physical attacks too, especially because Celebi, the only other grass psychic, isn't mixed anymore. They definitely should not have 100 attack. That's just a stupid fucking rule that Game Freak was like, oh yeah, let's make all the mythicals have 100 all over, which is stupid. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, hope you guys can actually hear the music now. You should be able to. So it's pretty good vibes. See you guys.